Hey guys, Pleb Reviews back after a couple of days. I decided not to do a video yesterday or the day before because I was very tired from work. I needed some sleep and I needed some rest. And obviously I needed to think about what albums I wanted to review. Today and now this was an idea that I had. I was going to do the new Queens of the Stone Age Like Clockwork album. But seeing as though I've only listened to it through a leak, and I'm assuming other people have as well, I don't really want to upload a review of it just yet, so my channel doesn't become jeopardised. And it could get deleted, it could not, but uploading an album that isn't officially out until the 3rd of June, it could jeopardise my channel, so obviously I don't want to do that. And instead, today I've opted to do a review for the album that is out now and has been for the past 6 years. It's 2007's Era Vulgaris, and this album I feel needs to be addressed and talked about. It received, when it was released, mixed reviews from critics and fans alike. A lot of critics were slamming it as an original piece of work, and others were saying it's quite an uninspired piece of work. Obviously, two dire contrasts. In my opinion, I still think it's very unappreciated as a Queens of the Stone Age release. There's some rocking tracks on this record. There's obviously, there is a couple of songs that are filler, but for the most part, this album, yes, it is a different direction. But I think that Josh Homme, because he's got such a wide scope of musical taste, and he's able to utilise that through every record that he's done, there is no two Queens of the Stone Age albums, in my opinion, that sound very similar to each other. Lullabies to Paralyze that came before this release, obviously, they do take influences from each other, but they are two completely different records, in my opinion. And the surprising thing was that when Lullabies to Paralyze came out, there was Josh Homme had lost quite a few band members with Lullabies to Paralyze, so we had to go back to the drawing board kind of thing, and he knew that he couldn't repeat the sound that he'd had on Songs for the Deaf, because that just wasn't going to work. So he went for something that felt more home to him, so to speak. He went down his more stoner rock roots mixed with blues, I feel, on Lullabies to Paralyze. And the album actually did really well. It got received very well, and I personally really enjoyed it as well. I was very surprised, because I thought that could be the end for the Queens of the Stone Age, because it's quite a catastrophic period of time for them. But with singles like Little Sister and Burn the Witch, Little Sister especially, a heavy rocker in itself, and then you've got a complete contrast with Burn the Witch, which is just a really, slow, quite mellow, but has that undertone threatening to explode kind of feel to it. It was an excellent single, and it had me completely stoked for the record. Same with Era Vulgaris, because the two singles that got released on this, 3s and 7s and 666, they were two quite heavy rockers. And I thought, well, because obviously they were quite abrasive tracks, still quite radio friendly in a sort of rock radio kind of way, I thought they were going to go back to more of it was a mix of Lullabies to Paralyze and Songs for the Deaf kind of thing. The album is not really like that. You get that, it becomes apparent actually on the first track, Turning on the Screw, which is a very slow-paced rocker. It's very stoner, like I've said, quite sludgy, slow-paced. I personally think it's a great album opener, but obviously people judge this album from the opener from the off, because it's quite a very slow song. It's not, I don't want to say catchy, because it isn't catchy, but Queens of the Stone Age haven't been renowned for the catchiness. It's not appealing on first listen, really. This is an album that takes 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 listens to actually get a hold of. But then after Turning on the Screw, it goes into the single 666, which is where the album sort of meets a crossroads, because people were like, oh yeah, we all like that single, so, we should like the rest of this album, but had that thing in the back of the head saying, Turning on the Screw, could it be an actual, could the whole album be slow and boring, as some people dubbed it, which I think is quite unfair, especially with, like I've said, 3s and 7s, great heavy rock song. And you've got other tracks like Run Pig Run, which I think is a very overlooked Queens of Stone Age track. It's it's a very slow track otherwise, but it is a slow album, but not a slow, boring, uneventful album in my opinion. If you actually get into this record, you will enjoy it so much. It offers a different side to Queens of the Stone Age, a side that I feel expanded a little bit from Lullabies to Paralyze, but it still stands as its own record. It is weak in spots, like Suture Up Your Future. A very strange title for a song. It didn't really work for me. I felt it was, you know, kind of fillerish. But that is, you know, a couple of other tracks which I didn't care for. But the rest, like I'm Designer, I can't believe how overlooked I'm Designer is. That guitar is fantastic. It's great. And then Josh Homme comes in, you know, with an unusual falsetto pitched voice for the song, but it works perfectly. And like I said, you know, if you've not heard this record and you are a Queens of Stone Age fan, and I won't believe it if you've not heard this record because you've had 6 years to listen to it, what have you been doing with your time? I definitely recommend it if you enjoyed Lullabies to Paralyze or any of the music they've ever done. I'd really recommend you listen to this. It's an overlooked record in my opinion, one that definitely needs more love from fans and critics alike. I can definitely recommend it. So if you've not given it a listen, set aside some time. It's going to need 2 or 3 listens, I feel. It might not. You might hit you on the first listen, but just, yeah, go out and listen to it. And I'm going to introduce the rating system again. If I'm going to rate this album out of 10, I'd give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great record, a great addition, as I've said. So, obviously, what did you think of this video, and what did you think of this record? You know, post below your thoughts, and yeah, I'm sorry I've not been here for the past couple of days, but it's going to become a regular thing now. I am going to make videos as frequently as I can, so thank you for bearing with me, those who care, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.